So last night living on the boat, we up here just on the north shore of Pittsburgh. Honestly, a pretty spectacular spot, if I'm gonna be quite honest. If you watched my last video, we just stayed here another day. We got both of the e-bikes loaded back up. Brandon's in the back, mine in the front, and I think we're just about ready to get out of here. I'm thinking since we're in Pittsburgh and this city is known for its pierogies, we're gonna go find somewhere to camp tonight, cook up some sauerkraut, and then potato and cheese pierogies. And for any of you guys who are unfamiliar with what a pierogi is, it's basically a boiled dumpling. So you take your dough crust, you fold it over your fillings. They can be sweet, savory, spicy, pretty much whatever you want. You pinch them closed, boil them in water, pan sear them up, get them all nice and crispy, and that's it. So it's pretty simple, but they are a Pittsburghian delicacy. There's stores all over the place where you can get pierogies. Little old ladies sell them at churches. Brandon's mom loves pierogies.
She's a little old lady too.
Yeah, she also sent me a recipe that's from her great aunt who lives in Pittsburgh. They've lived in Pittsburgh their whole lives. So pierogies are something that is very much so ingrained in the Pittsburgh culture. But we have very minimal supplies in the fridge, so I do not have pierogi ingredients. And there's not a grocery store that's kind of convenient enough to walk to from here. So the first thing we need to do is to go pick up that stuff. It was cool to be able to camp there last night though, because since Barry Bonds was being inducted into the Hall of Fame, they had like a gigantic fireworks show on a barge right where we're driving right now. I do think we might go back to Brandon's marina tonight to sleep. It is a few hours away, but I have not a single shred of clean clothes left. And I need to take a proper hot shower because we've been using Brandon's little tiny boat shower. And it's been nice, but it's not the most spacious. I feel like you don't get a full clean, so definitely looking forward to that tonight. We're pulling up to the spot where the grocery store, I think it's only one block in that way. Brandon's gonna be staying here because he's got to fix like the diesel generator that's on board. There was something messed up with it. So we're using this 100-year-old pierogi dough recipe that's been in Brandon's family for a long time to get all the ingredients to make, because I figure this is probably as authentic as you can get, and I'm sure it'll turn out better than anything I can make. What's the word? You get it working? Brandon's still working on the generator down there.
Found the issue.
Found the issue, working on a fix. And then we'll be getting out of here. Brandon, do you like onions?
Yeah.
Okay, because they only had packs of 7, so they're gonna have onions for a little while. And I was gonna make me and Brandon some breakfast while he was doing that, but he has an electric cooktop and the generator isn't working, so I think I might just make us some sandwiches once we start getting going. Do you want a pastrami sandwich?
Yes.
We're gonna see how easy it is to make something down here while Brandon's driving around. There you go. That's about as good as a sandwich as you're gonna get while being below deck on a boat, going full speed. All right, so we are about maybe halfway back, and Brandon's friends texted him they have a wakeboarding boat, so we might go wakeboarding, but I wanna make sure I have enough time to cook these pierogies up, so we're going through this lock, and then one more lock. I'm gonna get the dough started and get that done up while we're going through this lock, and then boating to the next one, so that's just ready to go. So that they're just ready to go, ready to boil whenever we get to where we're staying tonight. So we're following Brandon's great aunt's recipe with this. This is the pierogi dough mix that we're making up. I'm just gonna make it up outside on this table. I'm hoping this doesn't get too messy back here. I'm gonna try to keep it as clean as possible. So to start out, we need 2.5 cups of flour, just about that much. About a cup of sour cream, just about 2 tablespoons of oil, some fresh cracked salt, which I have to use 2 hands for. And then finally, 2 egg yolks. And then we just mix this all together, and that will be our pierogi dough, hopefully. I've never seen a dough made like this, so I'm not really sure how it's gonna come out. That is our nice little pierogi dough ball. I'm gonna get this table cleaned up, let this rest for like 15 minutes. Well, actually more than that, because we're gonna let it rest so we cook it tonight. But I'm gonna start getting the rest of the ingredients, everything that I can get prepped now, just so it's ready to go, easy to cook. after we go wakeboarding for a little bit later with some of Brandon's friends. So I think the only other thing that we have to prep is some onions. So I'm gonna get 2 of these prepped up, and the potatoes. And I got the small potatoes because I don't know why, but this Aldi only had like large options. You can only buy like 9 potatoes, and for some reason 7 onions. And these will just boil and cook way faster, so we're just gonna use these. I don't know what I'm gonna use to mash them. That's gonna be a whole other process, but we'll figure that out when we get there. This is probably gonna be a pain because we are moving. So these potatoes and onions are gonna be running away from me. And we're gonna do these onions kind of 2 ways. We're gonna do one fine dice and one kind of like a little bit looser. Up. We got our onions, some parsley, more onions, potatoes. So we can throw all of this back in the fridge, let that just sit there. And I think that's pretty much all I can do in terms of prep without having a stove that's able to turn on, but we'll do that later tonight once we get to where we're going. There we go, made it through our final lock. Brandon said his friends are somewhere out here. We're getting hooked up to the boat that we docked against. Brandon's finally getting the AC on again for the first time in a long time, which would be nice because I haven't showered in 2 days and I feel disgusting. But we're waiting for their friend to gas up their boat, so while they're doing that, I'm gonna get these potatoes started boiling and just get the rest of this stuff prepped so that they're ready to just get popped in when we get back. All right, let's get some water in the pot and get these potatoes boiling. And let's bring that to a boil. And actually, another thing I can do before we leave is get this rolled out and shaped into the little circular dumpling shapes. All right, so close the door to keep the AC in. This is gonna be my pierogi rolling area. I'm gonna try to keep it as clean as possible. There really just aren't a lot of spaces on a boat where you can roll out 3 dozen pierogies. Just get that a light dusting to keep it from sticking. Don't have a dough roller, so I'm using this bottle of white wine vinegar. Roll it out to about 1/4 of an inch thick, according to the recipe. And that should be good to make about 3 dozen. We're gonna see how many we can get out of this. It really doesn't look like I'm gonna get 3 dozen though, but I'm gonna get as many as I can. I got this too, it's like an ice cream sandwich maker. I found it at the store today and it was like the perfect size. At least I thought. Don't know if it actually is. There we go, number 1. Now I'm gonna cut the rest of them. All right, so our potatoes are nice and tender. We're gonna get those drained. Set those aside in a bowl. And then to that pan that we cooked the potatoes in, throw in a nice knob of butter down in there. And then get our finely chopped onions. Throw those in there and get a good sear on them. And then while we wait for these to get nice and cooked down, I'm gonna start mashing up some of these potatoes just with the back of my fork, real loosely. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then this is pretty much it for the filling. All we gotta add to that is our cheese. Throw a bunch of that in there. And then we'll mix that in until it's all nice and homogeneous. Yeah?
I wish that your viewers could smell what I'm smelling.
And then maybe they'd understand the guttural noise that you just made. I also got this queso fresco because I thought it sounded good. So I'm gonna throw some of that in there too.
Are you deviating from the recipe?
Well, your recipe only included the dumplings. It didn't have anything about the fillings.
Oh, no.
So it was just the dumplings, and then I looked up another filling recipe. Yeah, just to clarify, this filling recipe is not from Brandon's great aunt. She only had the dough recipe. So this is just one from online that I looked up. And the only seasoning I'm using for this is salt, because that's the only seasoning I have. You can use salt and pepper or other things, but Brandon doesn't have any seasonings, so we have salt. And he didn't even have that. Now that we got that all nice and mixed together, it looks delicious. We can take our onions and butter, throw those on top of there, and that is pretty much it for our filling. Once I come back from a little quick intermission wake surfing, I'm gonna put them in their little dough coffins, throw them in the water, boil them up for like 2 minutes, pan sear them, get them nice and crispy, throw some toppings on there, and that is gonna be my authentic pierogi on a boat. All right, so you've got our mixture covered. Should be hopefully pretty simple when we get back. All right, you ready? And we're back. Didn't really get up on the surfboard that much without letting go of the rope. I really couldn't figure it out. Maybe if I go out again I will, but it is time to make some pierogies. I don't know why I said it in an accent. It's time to make some pierogies. So before we start making those, get some water, get that on the stove and get that boiling. And it's definitely kind of a mess in the back of the boat after living in here for 3 days. We've kind of just been not really keeping it too clean. So I apologize for anyone with OCD in the comments. And I really hope I don't butcher these pierogies because I've never made them before and I'm making them for a bunch of Pittsburgh natives, so it's a little bit stressful. But let's start forming these bad boys up. Let's add about a spoonful of filling to each of these. And seal them up, hopefully. Hopefully they still seal nice because they did get a little dry from sitting here. So they might not seal up as nicely, which would kind of suck, but hopefully it still works out. Let's see if we can do this. Seem to be closing up nicely. Some of them are a little thin though, and they're kind of breaking through, which I'm hoping isn't an issue, but we will find out. There we go. All of these beautiful dumplings ready to go in, get boiled alive. So we're probably gonna have to do this in batches too. I think just get a even layer. They do cook kind of quick. It's only like 2-3 minutes, so shouldn't take too long, hopefully. All right, let's start plopping these bad boys in there. Hopefully they don't just all rip open. You're supposed to be able to tell that they're done when they float to the surface. All right, all of these pierogies are done. Finished boiling. These ones are still a little wet. They're a little more fresh. These ones have been sitting out. Got some butter melting in the pan. Get them nice and crispy, swimming in butter. That's how Brandon says he likes them, swimming in butter.
Yes, sir.
I figured he's more Pittsburgh than I am, so that's what we're gonna do. There we go. A little bit of color on one side. Those are done. I buttered half of them just because their buddies over there making us some burgers, and these are basically good enough. And one last finishing touch. These are ready to be eaten. Hopefully they're good.
Sounds like vomit. I hate to hear that sound.
There we go. Hopefully some good Pittsburgh style pierogies. These ones are the ones without butter, so I'll give you those, and then I'll take the ones with butter. Pierogies are done finally. Be like a little appetizer. These ones are the ones with butter. These ones are the ones without butter. Brandon says he likes the butter ones.
Well, butter one, that's the move.
Wow, that's actually a pretty good pierogi. B-E-A, beautiful.
Let's try one of these out.
You gotta rate it 1 through 10. Sorry, my light's like right in your eyes.
It's definitely a million times better than the ones we had in downtown Pittsburgh. I give this like a solid 8.5 to 9.
Compare them to Mrs. T's. Mrs. T's, for those of you guys who don't know, is the like frozen pierogi brand that your mom likes.
A little frozen box. They come in a little box, all kinds of different.
Your mom said she likes them a lot.
Mrs. T's, they go pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. These are awesome. I'll say Mrs. T's wins because they're a lot easier and faster to make.
That's fair. These took way too long, but they're still good.
These are so good, yeah.
It's nice meeting you. Have a good one.
Later, man.
All right, we just pushed off. Brandon's friends who were taking us out wakeboarding or wake surfing.
Yes.
Which is pretty fun, and the pierogies were a hit. They all liked them.
Honestly, he was stressing about the pierogies, but they were great. They were so good.
Well, even if they didn't like them, they lied to me. But it is a mess down here, so I think while Brandon's driving, I'm gonna get some of this cleaned up, and then we're kind of just heading back to the dock. We got about an hour drive through another lock back to the spot we're staying tonight at this marina. I think that is pretty much it for this weekend. Brandon, thank you so much for taking me out on your boat.
Absolutely.
It's been so much fun.
It's been great having a roommate.
Yeah, definitely have to come back out too. But yeah, we're just gonna be heading back now, going to bed because it is extremely late. But
so, are you gonna host me in your van now, and we can come in your van for a week?
Yeah, I can make you a bed in the front seat.
No.
You can be in my little cubby corner of the van. I think that is it for this video. As always, truly appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, think about clicking that subscribe button. I will catch you guys next time.